Carnivore diet, day 1 recap. So, yesterday when I woke up, my body had no idea what was in for. So, obviously that doesn't count. But, yeah. So what happened was, like, first thing, when I went for my walk, I put in some salt into my water just to experiment and, just to get a feel for what it's going to be like. The water at times tasted funny. At times it was like, oh, it's nice. Well, I'm not sure. I think I prefer to just eat raw salt, like without anything, and just kind of munch on it. Anyway, so I did that just in case, and just to get used to it. So then I went for my shopping walk, and that was fine. Nothing different. Then I got back and I did my first carnivore meal at around 1 p.m. I was already hungry, so I had decaf coffee. I had 150 grams of mince, fried with 2 eggs and a dollop of butter added later. It was nice. It was very difficult to eat it all. And fast forward a few hours, because I normally would eat around 5 again in the afternoon / evening, and I wasn't hungry whatsoever. I felt like, shit, what do I do? Do I make this second meal, or do I wait until I get hungry? So the force of habit decided, like, okay, let's just go with 5. So I decided to decrease the amount of beef, 240 grams of raw beef, and that still felt too much. I had to force myself to finish it. So I think I'm going to experiment to lower the amount of beef until it actually doesn't feel like, oh my god, that's too much. And either increase the eggs to account for the protein, or increase the butter. I don't know. But like I said, this is literally day 1 so things will take time to figure out. What else? And then whenever I did get got a bit hungry, like late in the evening, like late night, between 11 maybe midnight. So I had another bit of water just to keep it quiet. Other than that, I was fine. No big changes. Like maybe there was a little bit of a headache in the evening, but that was it. So we'll see how the day 2 goes. Day 2 of carnivore diet. So the difference from day 1. I slept quite well. I woke up only once to go to the bathroom, and I also actually dreamt as well, which has been elusive for a good few months, because I love my dreams, and I was just in a black hole, like the light was off, and suddenly I have my movies back, so that was nice. What else? I started off with, instead of mixing salt with water in a bottle, I just take it like a little handful, like a dollop, like, into, it's more than a pinch, and it's pink Himalayan. There's a lot of information about, like, oh, it could be full of lead and whatnot, and I don't know. Where I live, I have no access to the ones that are really, really good. I suppose everything kills in the end. But anyway, so I take a big pinch of salt and just put it in my mouth and just let it dissolve naturally, and maybe help it a little bit with water if it gets too, I don't know, too strong. So I do that before I leave for my walk, just to keep my, in case, electrolytes top, so I don't get cramps or get dizzy. That's the reason. What else? So I cut my beef to 100 grams for each meal, just to see how that goes. It went down very nice. I didn't feel like, oh my God, I can't eat anymore. Maybe the reason being that I added more salt right on top of it. On day one, I didn't use the salt for the meal, whereas for day two, I did. And it was so yummy. I loved it, so there was no problem. I didn't really feel hungry. Again, I ate first meal like around noon, and then the second round 5, and I had no issues with hunger in between. Also, I didn't have to supplement with the butter in between, which was nice. Disclaimer about butter is that I didn't start the butter on day one. I bought a brick of like half a kilo a few days beforehand, and I started, like, adding a little bit more and more. So on day 2, I finished that first packet, and it definitely does help, especially with anxiety. I noticed that the anxiety, like, this building up thing in the chest, and it has lessened. So I think you wouldn't get the same result on day 2. I mean, who knows, maybe, but don't expect that to happen, because I've been eating the butter for at least 5 days, prior to that. So I've already started building up the raw fat supply that my body needs. So yeah, I definitely attribute the lesser anxiety to eating butter, possibly the sleep as well. Anyway, what else? I'm trying to think. Overall, no other changes that can subjectively or objectively attribute to the changes in the diet. Everything else is as normal. I feel okay. I'm still alive. And I'm still excited about what I'm doing, and I'm actually looking forward to day 3 to continue and see what happens next. Yay. Day 3 of carnivore diet. Again, I slept really well, and again, I had my movies on, so that was great. Only once woke up to go to the bathroom, because I suppose I'm filtering out the water. It's this, dropping the water weight phase, I hope. Anyway, what else? I forgot to mention that on day 1 and day 2, late in the evening, just before bed, I had a little bit of a headache. like, I wouldn't even call it a proper headache, but this kind of niggling thing, and more than likely this is the drop in electrolyte, which is the sodium. So I had to supplement with salt. I mean, I didn't on day 1 or 2, but on day 3 I wisened up and had a bit of salt with me by the bed. So I took a pinch just to, avoid it. And also felt this little bit of heart palpitation, and it took about 30 minutes. It was gone. So I slept well. I was a little bit hungry. I was. But then, hello, how are you? But then, okay, I went down on the beef to 100 grams of raw per meal, which would be 200 in total. And after eating that, I felt like, there's a bit of space left for more. So I'm going to up it to about 125, because 150 was too much. 100 is not enough. So I'm going to go up to about 120, 125, sweet middle, and see how that works. Other than that, from the first meal till like late evening, I don't really feel hungry at all, which is nice. I was a bit concerned, like, if I might get weak, like with my walks and stuff, but so far so good. It doesn't seem to be the case. I'm a little bit worried if, like, my walk, because it's done on empty stomach and I'm already kind of hungry, is raising my cortisol, which in turn spikes insulin and all this whole hormonal cascade of reactions that might stop the healing part. So everything is fine other than that. And in case you wonder or are interested in going on a carnivore diet, and I suggest you do your own research, because me being autistic, do my due diligence, and I highly recommend Dr. Elizabeth Wright, because she uses carnivore for her patients. But also, same rule applies to what Dr. Georgia Ede preaches for her psychiatric patients. And also Max German, the Kiwi that loves to say eggs. Bless him. Yeah, so he's a really, really good source of information when it comes to carnivore, so I highly recommend it. Hello, how are you? So yeah, they don't give you like breakdowns of like, oh, how much, the numbers. You have to figure it out yourself, but it's fairly easy. You just go look it up online. You give like your height, and then you give your gender, and then you find like, how much protein you need to eat, and you go from there. Because if you want to heal with carnivore, that's what I'm doing. Then you start with 2-to-1 ratio, which means like 2 grams of fat for every gram of protein. So once you figure out the protein that you need, then it's easy to figure out the rest. And just read the labels, grab the calculator, and off you go.